Welcome to Travel Insights, Bali, number 1. Free the role of the shopkeeper. I went for a walk to look at some shops, and I noticed that there was a lot of shops with many shops in a row, a whole consecutive line of shops selling the same merchandise. So I think about, the life of the shopkeeper, and I noticed that they must be buying it from the same wholesaler, and they are in a position where they have to compete with each other. They're right beside each other and they're selling exactly the same merchandise. So as I'm looking for a pair of white pants, and I have some idea in my head of what I'm looking for, but not fully, and I'm open to explore. And so as I'm looking, I see a pair of white pants, and I go in, and I'm not quite in there yet. The shopkeeper is calling out to me, and that's what they do. You walk along and they all call you into the shop. So I'm already pretty much decided that they don't have anything that I'm interested in. But I'm feeling the neediness of the shopkeeper, and they're pretty much all of them are in the same boat, especially in the non-tourist season. So kind of the off season. So there's less tourists around. And this is their livelihood. And so they're a shopkeeper. So I go in with this one guy, and I'm already thinking, no, I'm not going to buy anything in the shop, but I'll have a look anyway. The shopkeeper I'm picking up probably hasn't sold anything all day, and concerned that he hasn't sold anything and wants to sell something, and hoping that I might be their first customer for the day. And I'm also kind of feeling that I want to make people happy. So I have this condition that, well, maybe if I buy something, they'll be happy. But on the other hand, is this how I want to travel? And just because I feel their neediness, I have to buy something from them. So I feel kind of trapped between their need and my need, and also my desire to make people happy, if I can, if it's within my capacity. So I look around and I say, no, this is not. And then he's getting a little more anxious and maybe hopeful that then he looks for another pair, and he asks me what color I want. And I said, well, this is not going to work for me. And then he says, is there anything else you want? And so I said, well, maybe some blouses. And he pulls up some blouses, and they're all kind of not stylish enough for what I'm looking for. So I finally make a decision, say, okay, well, I'm not making this person happy. I might as well leave. So first of all, I'm going in there for myself, but then I end up thinking that I got to make this person happy. And so I end up saying, sorry, this is not going to work. I'm going to go now. And so as soon as I walk away, I feel his letdown. He didn't succeed in selling something, and he's a shopkeeper, and he's supposed to sell something, and it's his livelihood, and it feels really sad. And I almost, when I was walking away, I felt like he was even angry that I didn't buy something. So it's a very odd situation. I go in there for myself, and then I'm feeling for this person. And then as I walk away, I contemplate, the life of the shopkeeper and the situation they're in. And there's a lot of shopkeepers in all over when I'm traveling, travel here, travel anywhere, and people decide to be shopkeepers. And, um, and it's a role, um, it's an identity, it's a livelihood. And I think about that we're all in that same situation where whatever role we take on for the sake of livelihood, there's this kind of neediness, like I'm not enough, I've got to succeed in my role, and I'm very dependent on external um, factors, conditions. You know, like I was that external condition that made his day or failed his day. And what a situation for me to feel. But I actually project the same thing in my role when I play a role. Say I'm a yoga teacher or a spiritual teacher, and I want people to come to my classes, and I want to, so it's a livelihood, and my success depends on if people come to my classes. So I've been sort of pondering that, like, is there a how do I, as playing a role, not get upset by the ups and downs of the external, and that I'm connected with myself, and believing in the higher good of all things, and feeling gratitude for everything that is in my life, and feeling gratitude for everything that can come into my life, and feeling the fullness and the expanded sense of potentiality. Whereas when we're stuck in a role, it's difficult because we're identified that these are the conditions, and I've accepted these conditions. Say I'm a shopkeeper, and so then I'm more limited. I don't feel as expanded because that's all I can do. Whereas when I'm connected with my higher self, I'm not only a shopkeeper, I'm not only a teacher, a meditation, a yoga teacher. I am infinite. I am the expanded being. And so it's really a matter of de-identifying from the role, and connecting with the potentiality of any role. I can pull away from one role and play another role, but who I am is that infinite potentiality. And in that we can play rather than feel trapped or limited. So when I think about the shopkeeper, all I can do is it reminds me of myself in a role that I would play, and it reminds me that I have to be detached from the role and identify with my higher potential, which is I can pop out of a role, and my livelihood is not dependent on the role, because if I'm connected with my source, then I have infinite potentiality. Then livelihood can come from anything, not just from my role. So that's what creates the neediness. So when I'm de-identified, I'm not needy, and that's what was transmitted from the shopkeeper to me, is his neediness, and it drew out my desire to help him. But then when I walked away, I only made him angry, because now it showed up in his face that he was unsuccessful for his role that he played. So all I can do right now is offer the love and feel expanded, and offer a prayer or a connection that may all beings expand into a non-role, even though the body plays roles, but our identity is not the role. And when we expand our sense of self, then all potentiality is available for us. So I hope you enjoy today's travel insights with Miranda, and I'll see you in next travel insight. Bye.